Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my June reading wrap up. I know it is like mid-July right now, but better late than never, right? So I actually have 5 books that I read in June. All of them are romances. I think my average rating is about a 3.75 to a 4 star. And I got one 5 star out of all these books. I actually read a whole trilogy in June as well. I continued a trilogy in June as well. So let's get to it. So the first book I read in June was Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I read this on my Kindle. I do not have the physical copy yet. I'm gonna get it soon. This was actually my 5 star read of the whole month. I really enjoyed it. I didn't even expect to give it a 5 stars, but as I read it and as I finished it, I kept thinking about it and I was just thinking of how good it was and how sweet and wholesome and beautiful it was because it's an accidental pregnancy trope and it follows Win and Bo. They met at a Halloween party, at Win's best friend's Halloween party. They had a one night stand and she got pregnant. And she was very nervous to tell Bo. But when Bo found out, he was like, okay, let's do this. I'm going to step up to the plate. And I was just like, Bo is such a sweetheart. He is so sweet. He was there for Win every single step of the way. Through her whole pregnancy, he was there. He was like, you need a place to stay? You can come move in with me. If you need this, I'll get you it. Oh, do you want, what are you craving? I can cook it. Bo is so sweet. He is husband material, and I just really enjoyed reading about him and what he did for Win. Win is your independent woman. She tries to do things all on her own and figure it out all by herself. That's how it's always been with her. So when this pregnancy came along, she kind of wanted to just do it on her own, try to navigate it, but of course Bo and her best friend would not let her do that. So she had her fair share of help. She actually has a limb difference. I think her one of her hands is underdeveloped and it's kind of smaller than her other hand. And that's something that is kind of a big part of this book because she recalls the trauma that it brought her from a young child, especially, being different in that aspect. You know how people are and how people treat those who are different. So it's like she kind of carried that with her, but she did grow. She did overcome all of it. What was also really sweet though was Bo has a prosthetic leg, so they kind of bonded in that aspect when they first met, and of course they kind of understood each other and their differences and their challenges with what they have, and it was just so beautiful. They and the whole book is just them navigating Wynn's pregnancy. They're preparing for the baby's arrival. It's not like, oh, she finds out she's pregnant, we're fast forwarding to the birth of the baby. No, we're going through the whole pregnancy, all her hormones, her fighting feelings for Bo, because at first she just wanted to, okay, we're going to be co parents. We're going to just do this together. We're not going to be together. I just wonder why Wynn didn't think that she and Bo could be together. She just automatically concluded that we're going to be co-parents and so we just need to make this work. But throughout the whole book, she's literally fighting feelings for Bo and just noticing these little details about Bo and just kind of finding herself attracted to him each and every day she spends with him. It's a beautiful story navigating the pregnant life. We're getting a glimpse into Wynn's hormones, her cravings, and all that stuff that pregnant women go through. I rated this a 5 stars. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. It was spicy though. I I wish if it didn't have those parts and it was maybe less spicy and more PG, it probably would have been more enjoyable. But there was some scenes where it's like, okay, I don't need to know this. I'm just gonna skip. But that's just a little warning for you there for those who don't like spice, but it does not take away from the whole plot or story because it is so good and so beautiful. So I highly recommend Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I really liked Win. Win was a great female main character. I love how independent she was. I really loved Bo. Bo was such a sweetheart. He was so good. He's this amazing guy who stepped up to the plate, and I just love him so much. Moving on, for my second book of June, I actually read The Selection by Kiera Cass. I rated this book a 4 stars. It was the first book of the Selection series, and I really enjoyed it surprisingly. I actually got this recommendation from a friend and she said it was really good and I was a little hesitant to actually read it. I didn't really expect myself to actually pick this up, but she was just so adamant about me reading it, so I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. Like the whole storyline and plot is very interesting. It follows America Singer and how she gets drafted into the selection. And the selection is where 35 girls compete for the heart of Maxon, who is the prince. And it's kind of like a fairy tale romance type thing, and it just follows America navigating her life through selection. Her whole world turned upside down, and she had to leave behind her family, and she had to leave behind her secret lover who she'd been dating for 2 years in private because they didn't really know how their families would react. She made it to the selection. She went into the kingdom. She got to know Maxon, and at first she was like, okay, I'm only here to make friends with you. I don't want anything from you. I don't want to fall in love with you. I'm only here so my family can get the money. Maxon's like, okay, all right, deal. But as the selection continues, of course, they both start to fall for each other. Maxon loved America. I feel like Maxon liked America from day one, from that first encounter. He has had feelings for her and he has wanted to pursue her, but in respect to her and her decision, he was like, okay, we'll be friends. But America at first was like, I want nothing to do with you. I don't want to fall in love with you. I don't want the crown, but I'll be your friend. I'll help you sort through these other girls so you could find your wife. And so that's what they did for a good while until America started to realize she had feelings for Maxon too. She was starting to see through his facade, through his walls that he has built up as prince. She was learning more about him and how different the cameras make him seem, and she's getting to know the real him, not the face he has to put on when cameras are on him or when his dad is around or anything. And it was pretty beautiful. But of course, Aspen comes back into the picture, which is her secret lover, and her feelings reignite again because Aspen had broken up with her before the selection, and she was just, okay, I'm gonna get over him. Let's do this. But Aspen comes to the castle because he got drafted to be an imperial. He's kind of like a soldier at the palace and protects everybody in there. So America, her whole feelings for Aspen come back up. Now she is in a battle in her mind on whether or not to choose Maxon or choose Aspen. And that leads us into the second book, which is my third book read of June, and that is The Elite. The Elite, I gave a 3.5 star. It was not my favorite book. If you didn't see, I actually talked about this in a previous reading vlog. I had strong feelings about this book. It was something. I did not I feel like it wasn't necessary, but of course it was necessary to get more information about the whole series and leading into the third book. But it kind of felt drawn on too long. I feel like the author was kind of making the story longer than it needed to be. America was still trying to make her decision. She was trying to sort through all her feelings. She was trying to figure out all that she had to do. Like when you're a selection girl, you get assigned different projects and duties to see if you are going to be fit to be a queen. Her views are different from the other girls' views because she grew up as a poor girl, and so she saw life differently than the ones who had more money and were more well to do and grew up in a better place. Due to that, all her duties that America had to do, she was trying to fight for the castes to be removed, which was different levels of kind of like social class. So it's like from 1 to, I think there's 7 or 8. 1 is like the royal family rich. 8, you're poor, you're down there in the dumps, you don't even have a house, you probably sleep on the floor. And so she wanted to get rid of the castes. She did not think that was right, so she fought for justice and for a better way of life for the people of Ilea. And as you go through the second book, you also see that she's falling more in love with Maxon and still trying to decide who to go for, whether Aspen or Maxon. And honestly, America annoyed me in this book. She is not my favorite female main character. She was definitely something in this series. At first, I gave her sympathy points. I was like, okay, I trying to understand what you're going through. I can see that this is a big change, that a lot of things are going on in your life. But by the second book, I was like, okay, I think you're the problem here. So the Elite was not my favorite, but by the end of it, it was still pretty good. And that leads into the third book of the selection series, which is my fourth read of June. And I rated this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed the one. It did take me a little bit to actually get into it because coming off of the Elite, I was a little tired of the series. I was like, okay, we need to get to the point. We need to wrap this up. I need the ending already. So I start the one, and America makes her choice in this book, and a lot of action goes down actually throughout the whole series, you were going to read that there are actually people like rebels who go against the way the kingdom of Ilea is run. And so there we have the northern and southern rebels. The northern rebels I think are the good guys and the southern rebels are the really bad guys that like they don't care who they if they're going to kill people, if they're going to ruin the whole kingdom, they don't care. But the northern rebels just wanted change. They just wanted a better leader than the king that was in place, which was Maxon's dad. And so we see a lot more action in the third book. We see that America is finally coming to terms with who she wants to choose and what she actually sees in her future. She did not want to be the future queen and all the responsibilities that that came with because I think she didn't see that as an option. But now that it was an option, now that she had the opportunity to change the kingdom, to change everybody's lives for the better, she was like, okay, wow, I'm like imagining a future I never thought that I would be able to live. So as she's thinking about that, she's starting to realize who she wants to be with more. And so we also she also runs into trouble with the king because the king is definitely in opposition against America and what she wants for the future kingdom. And so the king is trying to get her out. He is trying to get her to not be chosen by Maxon. He is going against her. She did not let that stop her. Of course, that put fear in her, but she still fought for what was right. And she overcame him. And by the end, we have a happily ever after. Some tragic stuff, but a happily ever after. And that was the selection series. Never read a whole series before in my life, but hey, cheers to the first one. The characters in the selection series, I loved Maxon. Maxon was sweet, caring, kind, lovely. Love the guy. America, she annoyed me. She was good at some points. In the first book, she was good. Second book started to go downhill from there. In the third book, I was like, okay, I'm glad you got your happily ever after. So, America was not my favorite, but she was still pretty good. And the whole series was actually a really good series. I think I'd give it like as a whole, like a 3.75, a 4 stars, maybe a 4 stars, because I really enjoyed reading it. I did not expect to love it as much as I did. The writing style was definitely easy to read, and you could definitely keep up with it easy peasy. I do think that the transitions from one event to the next could be smoother. And overall, I think it was a great story, great storyline, great plot. I really enjoyed it. It was a quick, easy read. If you want a good, nice romance with some action, hey, go for it. And it's PG, there's no spice. So, yeah. Moving on. Reckless, ladies and gentlemen, was my fifth read of June. The Powerless series has such a special place in my heart. I read the first book, Powerless, in May, and from then on, I fell in love. Lauren Roberts is my favorite author. I've read a lot of authors, but Lauren Roberts takes the cake. She did such a good job with not only this book, but with the series as a whole. I know I've only read 3 books out of the whole series, but I can tell you from those 3 books, amazing. The first book was her debut novel, and she blew it out of the water. Powerless is like a TikTok sensation. Powerless is so popular worldwide. I know it. And she's done all this and she's still so young and she's just it's so amazing that her words it's just words on paper, but it's beautiful words on paper. The way she describes her characters, the way she describes the scenes and the setting, the way she writes, the way she thought out her plot line and stories and character backgrounds, like applause to you, Lauren Roberts, because this this book is amazing. These books are amazing. I cannot say enough about Lauren Roberts. She is so amazing. I love her writing style. I love her books. I cannot believe that she only has 4 books out right now. And it's so sad because once I finish Fearless, and I think she's coming out with another novella, which is Fearful. Once I finish that, there's no more. So that's kind of really sad. But Reckless, I gave a 4 star. I really would have loved to have rated it higher, but it was a 4 star. Reckless follows Kai and Peyton on an unforgettable journey through Dor and the Scorches and taking Peyton back to the kingdom of Ilya. Spoiler warning, I'm going to spoil Powerless right now because if you have not read Powerless, I highly recommend reading Powerless. It is an amazing book. It is an amazing first book in a trilogy. Love it. Peyton killed the king. She is the most hated person in Ilya right now. And Kit is now king. He is on the throne. Kai is now the enforcer under Kit. And one of his missions as enforcer is hunting Peyton down to bring her back to Alea to punish her. Peyton fled the kingdom. She left because she just killed the king. She had wanted nothing to do with them anymore. And she went to the Scorches. No, did she go to Dor or the Scorches? I think one of the two. She went to one of the two. Kai followed her there and tried to catch her, but of course he failed. Peyton is very cheeky and mysterious and very good at hiding and running away and fighting. But ultimately, Kai catches up to Peyton. He gets her and he tries to take her back to the kingdom, but of course, Peyton won't go without a fight. And they go on this really long journey of trying to make it back to the kingdom. But of course, they run into trouble. They run into people. They run into criminals, to other trouble, and of course, they also had to make the long trek and journey back to the kingdom from Dor and the Scorches. Through that journey, they of course are still fighting feelings for each other. Both of them are kind of like reluctant in wanting to go after or desire the other because of course they come from very different backgrounds. Kai is the enforcer and Peyton is an ordinary. She has no power and she comes from a very poor, unfortunate background. And so when it comes to the both of them, they kind of are reluctant, especially after what Peyton did. Kai is kind of like, I have to hate her because of this, but I don't. And he's trying to fight these desires, these feelings. And of course, he's still being his flirty self. He is still getting to her and making her blush and is leaving her speechless. Peyton is also fighting her feelings for Kai. She is definitely trying to tone down her blushes. She's trying to fight her smiles and gawking at Kai and having those desires. It's like she hates that she wants him, but it's like kind of inevitable. Come on, it's Kai that we're talking about. But as they also are fighting back feelings, Kai is also fighting his duty as an enforcer. He does not want to give Peyton over to Kit. He thinks that he's going to kill her and that she's going to fall down into an evil, wicked doom that is awaiting her back at the kingdom. And he does not want to do that because he loves Peyton. But this whole book is a roller coaster of emotions, a roller coaster of tragedies, and crazy things happen. The ending to Reckless, if you saw my last video, I actually posted my reaction. Lauren Roberts knows how to write an ending and make you mad and want to throw the book across the room. I didn't, thankfully. It's still in beautiful condition. Why, Lauren? Why? Like, it's insane. Like, this is the this is like the shortest book besides the novellas. This is like the shortest book in the whole series, but it is definitely a page turner. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's just so worth the read. I loved Reckless. I love Lauren Roberts, and I gave this book a 4 star. I would have loved to have rated this higher, but it was just not more than a 4 star. But 4 stars is still really good. I still love the series. I love Lauren Roberts, and she did it again. I started Fearless earlier today, and I'm so excited, especially after the ending to this book. But I'm so excited and so sad to be finishing the series because that means no more Lauren Roberts books, and I'm love her writing and I love her stories. And she's my favorite author, so it's going to be so sad not being able to buy or read books of hers anymore after finishing the series. The characters are amazing. Peyton is such a fierce and strong woman. Kai is such a loyal, fierce male main character, and I love that about him. And I love how he still has some sweet spots in him even after all that he's been through and all that he's been trained to do. So that was my reading wrap up for June. I hope you guys enjoyed my first reading wrap up. If there are any suggestions to what you would want me to add to my reading wrap up, like anything you would want me to talk about, anything you would want, like any more info about the books or stats, then comment down below any suggestions. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to give a thumbs up and maybe even consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Love you guys.